All good to go? Cool. Good morning, everyone. Today is September 11th, 2024. It's AJ and I's second episode, first one we're recording here in a morning. So you'll be hearing this Wednesday morning. Um, we wanted to go over just kind of like our MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, Coach of the Year, all those kind of predictions for the week. And we'll do a slight touch on Thursday night's game. But yeah, we're really excited. We finally got our pilot out of the way, and then our first episode for Monday or for Tuesday morning. But yeah, so now we're excited. AJ and I are rocking and rolling, and we have our Wednesday episode coming up for you.
Yeah, just want to thank you all for showing up. So thanks for being here. Good morning. And we'll roll right into Thursday night preview. Don't forget, we're going to go live Thursday night for football and see what happens. Last week we got kicked off midstream, so hopefully it can't get any worse, right?
Yeah, that's it. And I feel like we had good momentum, just kind of comparing numbers of streams and stuff like that, and things I've seen before. Like we had solid numbers, and people were joining in and talking sports with us. We had Casey and Brandon, Gunner, Tim. There's a whole handful of people in there talking. So if we could definitely try to keep that momentum up Thursday, we would appreciate it. And we're gonna do our best to not get flagged and kicked off in the middle of a sentence this time. But yeah, we'll touch on that, and but let's get right into it then. So we are looking at Thursday nights. We have Buffalo in Miami for Thursday night football, and I'm not sure who I love in this game. I feel like I want to take the Dolphins. I feel like the Bills struggling against the Cardinals was not a great look. Um, the Dolphins struggling against the Jags wasn't a great look either, but that's almost like expected for them, I guess. Who do you love for
Sure.
Thursday?
Nobody. I don't
Nobody.
love anybody.
Yeah.
um, there's a lot to this game. It's week two, and we're talking about so many injuries for the
Yeah.
Dolphins.
Yeah.
Um, I would expect Josh Allen to play. They talked about his left hand. Um, for whatever reason, he's on the injury report, but not. Um, sorry, my baby's crying. Um,
I
so
can't hear it, so it's okay.
that's good. Um, anyways, Josh Allen is on the injury report, but practicing, so that's great. But then you look at the Dolphins injury report: two running backs, Raheem Mostert and Devin Akine, not playing yesterday or Monday in practice. It's now Wednesday. I don't think they're going to practice again the day before the game, but maybe I'm wrong. And then you have a few other people listed, but they're kind of expecting to play. And then I don't particularly want to get into it, but the Tyreek Hill drama. Um, he did get arrested. In my opinion, both sides are in the wrong. Um, Nobody did anything to make the situation better. So
That's pretty much what I was gonna say. Is it's one. It's hard to put it on anyone, but then it's like he wasn't complying immediately, but the reaction was so far extra, and that's where everyone kind of comes in, where he has tinted windows and you don't know what he's doing with the window up, and he rolled his window back up, and I did hear the audio in the one where the one cop goes, "It's Tyreek Hill," and so that's where like I saw the split on the internet was like it could have gone two ways, and it felt like they knew who he was, so they could have just been like, "Oh shit, like let's write him his ticket and then give him his escort to the game." Like it could have just been simple, like they knew who he was, they knew what was going on. He's not above anyone because he's a football player, but like the reality of the situation was all of that traffic was there to go see him play. Like there is
yeah,
kind of like some logic there for him to like, but again, I know that now there's talking about criminal speeds and things like that. That he's doing like 140 or whatever, and so I feel like there's still going to be some information that comes out about this, but I mean, yeah, the body cam footage was pretty telling of kind of how
yes,
it went. But yeah,
yeah,
it good for him though. I will say, regardless of how it all kind of plays out and how it falls, that's I know that they're calling for jobs and things like that now, and I believe people have been placed on leave if I remember seeing that correctly. So and it's obvious that they're going to dig into it. It's going to be such a high profile thing with all like they had cameras on it. It's Tyreek. Other players got detained, like Calais Campbell and John Smith stopped by, and again, you see the video of them, and they're telling them that you can't be parked there, and they're just playing dumb. Like, what do you mean I can't be parked here? And it's like you're technically in the middle of a roadway. You're not allowed to interfere with the traffic stop. Like if you were just walking down the sidewalk, they wouldn't be able to tell you to leave, but they were telling them specifically to leave because their vehicle was there. And that was the only thing for
yes,
me. It was like drive up and park, and then walk your ass back so that you're free and clear. Like don't keep pushing the issue and be having your car. And then Calais Campbell just kind of stood there and was like, all right, I'm going. I'm going, and just didn't move. And so the cop was like, all right, I'm tired of this shit. So yeah, but that's I think the whole situation again. That cop was bringing that anger in, and but yes, I think that we'll still get some more details here in the next few days, and things will kind of still come out. But yeah, it's I at end all be all though to get arrested at 10:30 in the morning and then
Yeah.
go catch an 80-yard touchdown pass and throw up a handcuff celebration. That's still pretty sweet. So yeah, good for Tyreek, I guess. But
Yes. Yes,
that was
absolutely good
all.
for Tyreek. I guess if anything, we need to be thankful that everyone came out of that situation safe.
Yeah,
Um,
that
and
could have been one of those.
yes, exactly. And we never want to see that. But yeah, there's a lot to be had there and unpack,
Yeah.
and I'm sure there's much more to come on the
Yeah,
situation.
that was what, and I'm one too. Like I said, I never want to jump out day one and be like, "This is what happened," and it's like, give it a couple days. Like, there's always like you got to get some videos, body cams, and kind of see the situation. But I mean, yeah, again,
Yeah,
that body cam was pretty telling. It was
yeah.
pretty quick to see what was going on.
But going
But yeah,
back to the game,
football
if
football side of things.
yeah, if I had to take somebody, I think I'm rolling with Miami. Uh,
Yeah.
Buffalo did look good, but again, we're playing this whole Josh Allen is our offense, and
Yeah, Miami
he's
has a much better defense than the Cardinals do. Even
yes,
though I feel like the Jags are probably a better
exactly.
team than the Cardinals, but yeah,
And
I think the
Buffalo,
Rams
for
or
what
the
it's
Rams,
worth,
the
Buffalo
Dolphins.
going to Miami. I know it's early season, but I know it's getting chilly up here in Pennsylvania.
It is already.
So I can only assume it's getting chillier up there in Buffalo, and they're gonna roll down to Miami, and it's gonna be hot and humid and disgusting,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And Miami's prepared for that, and they love it. So yeah,
Exactly.
give me Miami too. That's I don't know what the
The line is 2.5.
I was just going to
Um,
say. Yeah, is it
yeah, I
in
think.
favor of
Yeah,
Miami?
Miami 2.5,
Yeah,
minus two and a
I
half.
think
Yeah,
that's fair. I think they kick a field goal and win it. If anything, that's I think that's
yeah,
a smooth number to have.
yeah. I think I would take Miami to cover in this situation.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause, yeah, I don't think they squeak by a 1 or 2 point win where they score a last second touchdown. I think yeah, it's at least a field goal and then kind of going from there. So
Yes, exactly.
all right, cool. Yeah, I'm excited. The only thing kind of stinks this week is we don't get our Friday night game, so we
Uh,
have to go back to normal life on Friday night. We do have a little bit of college
darn.
football, but yeah, we have normal life Friday night. No Brazil game, but yeah, excited for Bills Dolphins. And again, like AJ said, we'll be live for that. Um, it'll be from my page, but we'll have the Cub of Sports page tag, so everybody should see it until we hit that 60-day mark, and then we will definitely go live from our page. We just don't want to miss out on all the weeks of the season, so we were like, let's just roll with it and see what happens. But yeah, so I mean, other than that, then I think that kind of covers the Bills Dolphins. We can jump right into it. I guess we save MVP for last. We'll start kind of on the low end of the totem pole, or do you
Uh,
want to?
yeah, I don't know. We can start with probably comeback player of the year.
Yeah,
Yeah. So sorry, just looking at my notes here. I mean, let's start with our options. I think you have probably three big options in Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, and Anthony Richardson.
okay.
Do you think anybody else was on that
So
potential
I had
list?
Aaron Rodgers, Damar Hamlin, Ezekiel Elliott, and then my pick was Anthony Richardson. My
Okay.
three talking points were Rodgers has a good thing. Burrow, I kind of forgot about that. I forgot Burrow had the injury and everything last year
Yeah.
too. But I think Damar getting a starting role is going to be kind of a sympathy vote in a way that like it's kind of
Okay.
hard to like the dude died 2 years ago and now he's starting again. So like that's pretty cool versus Aaron Rodgers just being old as hell and getting hurt. Ezekiel, old as
Yeah.
hell, went and got paid and then came back. Like not as exciting. So for me,
Yeah.
I think it comes down to probably if Demar plays really well this year, and then Anthony Richardson. I think Richardson. It's just weird because like he was expected to do so well, so we're just talking comeback based on injury. But like
Yeah.
yeah, his odds to win, I think we're top three or top five. Like yeah, so I think Anthony Richardson, and it sucks because I'm basing it off of one 60-yard throw where he was slipping. But like, if you could do that all year long, like you should be in a pretty good spot to at least be healthy, get the Colts to a 10-7 season kind of thing, like
Yeah.
fight for division win. Like if he can do that, I think he put like they don't have to go 14-3 for him to win comeback player of the year. So that's yeah, I think my pick is Anthony Richardson.
Right on. I think I roll with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
If I were gonna place a bet, it'd be on Aaron Rodgers. Um, they played a great 49ers defense the other night.
Yeah,
He
that's
didn't
true.
look great, but again, the 49ers don't let a lot of people look great. So,
Yeah,
um,
I think that's
I
a fair
think,
pick.
yeah, I think the rest of the season will look better for them. But I think Aaron Rodgers is, presuming he stays healthy again, I think he's going to win it on just uh, clout alone.
I
Like,
was just
it's
saying he
Aaron
has,
Rodgers.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
He gets that. His name's
yeah,
at the top. Like it's a, yeah,
based on last year, 4 plays, torn ACL, done. Um, and how bad the team looked last year without him. If they come back this year and they, even if they have a decent year, they don't need to win the division, but maybe squeak into the
they
playoffs at a wild card.
they weirdly
Um,
could though, because you have the Bills and the Dolphins fighting over nothing all year.
yes,
Patriots are probably gonna fizzle out like that. That Week 1 Bengals win, I think, was just we're tired of everybody telling us we suck. Look at the Panthers and the Giants.
yeah,
And so yes, I think that there's definitely a chance that the Jets even kind of fight for their division this year because everyone else is like the Bills and Dolphins are going to kind of take care of each other in a way that they're going to be
yeah.
in their own way.
I just pulled up the Jets schedule, and their next 4 games you have at Tennessee Titans, home versus the Patriots, home versus the Broncos, and home versus the Vikings. And then they get their first divisional game in the Bills. Or sorry,
Yeah,
the Patriots is their first one. So I think they're easily 4-1 rolling in against the Bills.
yeah,
And I be honest with you, I don't know that there's a reason they can't beat the Bills. And then after that, they go Steelers,
yep.
Patriots, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins.
Damn.
Um, yeah, it's their schedule seems to be real easy. Not that any game in the NFL is easy, but
Yeah,
they they definitely have their chances to have a good 10 win plus season.
yeah. That's and again, like you said, they're at least squeaking in for playoff spots and kind of getting into that realm there. So,
Yeah.
all right, cool. So yeah, my I think my official pick is then Anthony Richardson. Although I do love the Aaron Rodgers pick, like you really can't go wrong there. I think he's the favorite
Yeah.
on Vegas odds. But yeah, I think yeah, like you said, if they even
Yes.
have a decent season, he doesn't need to throw for 5,000 yards and 50 touchdowns. Like a 3,030 with 10 wins is gonna get him like in the conversation. So
Yeah, I agree.
um, cool. So cool. Comeback player of the year. He just got Aaron Rodgers. I have Anthony Richardson. I don't think we wrote this one down. We should have. I don't know why, but coach of the year.
Yeah, we
Was it?
didn't.
I was
Uh,
like, I wrote one down, so I have one. So if, while I talk about mine, you can come up with yours, take a quick glance, or we can do rookies quick, and then you can come up with it.
no, go ahead. Let's start. Let's dive into coach.
Cool. All right. So I like Jim Harbaugh. 1 week in, and that's
Mm,
the other caveat we should be saying here is that obviously we're doing this a weekend. I don't know how we'll do it next year because like it is kind of fun doing it after week 1. You get a little taste of how everyone is and what the teams look like and things like that. But at the same time, week 1 is never the tell all be all of what the season's gonna be.
yeah,
So like the the who was the team that like the Jets they lost week 1 but they can end up in the AFC Championship like so it's hard to just be like oh they lost week 1 or they played poorly week 1 like the Ravens technically they lost but they're probably going to be back there at the end of the year too so I could see a lot of different people. The other one I really liked was Shane Steichen for Indy. I think that Indy
mm,
is in there, and then D'Amico Ryan's for Houston because I'm so big on Houston this year. Some of the other ones in the favorites were Matt Lafleur and Matt Eberflus. I
okay,
don't love the Bears. I don't love the Packers enough to just be like, oh yeah, they're gonna end up on top or worthwhile. The other dark horse I have is Sean Payton because if we somehow have a decent year or get close to the playoffs or something, or if he makes Bo Nix look like the next whoever, I think that he has a chance to make it happen. But I think my official pick is definitely going to be Jim Harbaugh. His post game press conference, like the Harbaughs just make me want to run through a wall. Like I just want them to help me come like raise my sons. Like I love everything about them, and so seeing like his post game and like them getting their first dub, like I think they have some momentum in that locker room right
yeah,
now, and that's scary as an AFC West fan. But yeah, I think Harbaugh. I wanted them to struggle at first, like a normal rookie year return. It's his first
yeah,
year back in the NFL, like everything. So I was like, oh, they're going to struggle a little bit. And no, he's got a room full of grown ass men eating out of his hand, and they got to win week 1. So yeah,
yeah.
I think Harbaugh rides that momentum for most of the year, and he ends up with Coach of the Year. Shane
Honestly,
Steichen is my dark horse.
honestly, that's a great pick. Little bit of a homer pick for me because
Yep.
I would agree. I think. I think he's got to be the front runner, right? I think
Yeah,
they
he
I
is.
think
Yeah.
they have the best chance of going from one of the worst teams to one of the best.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, and I think I don't nothing comes to mind as like a standout to me for anybody else that in
No.
the year. Short of
That's
somebody
it.
going like almost undefeated or something like that.
That's what
Um,
I say. I had said D'Amico Ryans, but like the
yeah,
Texans are kind of expected to do well now this year, so like they're
yeah,
expected to go 12-5. So unless they go 16-1, like I don't
right,
think he's gonna get it. And so I think Shane Steichen and Jim Harbaugh are the two where it's like their teams are
yeah.
supposed to be mediocre, and so if they
I
do even remotely well,
I think if I had to add somebody to that list, I gotta look at Atlanta and Raheem Morris.
yeah,
I know they didn't look great against Pittsburgh, but
no, yeah, I'm
I
still high on Atlanta.
yeah, I think they have too many weapons. Um, I think if they have any problems, it's gonna come down to that quarterback position and Kirk Cousins, and Michael Penix. So,
All right. Well, before we jump into defensive and rookie of the year, I happened to see I was looking up coach of the years and stuff, and
yeah,
looking at the last few winners, it's hysterical. Some of the names on this list. So last year, Kevin Stefanski for the Browns. Browns are a complete dumpster fire, so him winning that is hilarious. The year before was Brian Dable for the Giants, also a dumpster fire. The year before was Mike Vrabel for the Tennessee Titans, who I believe is not there anymore. Or is this his hot seat year? Either way, Titans are looking terrible. The
Vrabel's
year
not there.
before that was Stefanski again for the Browns, and then 2 years before that was Matt Nagy for the Chicago Bears. Like I saw names on here and I was like, am I looking at the right list? Like, is this coach of the year? Because those
Yeah,
teams have been bad forever. But yeah, so I just thought that was funny that Nagy won a coach of the year. Stefanski's won it twice. Vrabel's won it once. Brian Dable won it. Like that's actually kind of hilarious. But
that is, yeah.
I saw those names and I had to double check. I was reading the same list of what I thought it was. And I was like, Coach of the Year, really? I was like, we have Stefanski, Vrabel, Dable, Stefanski in a 4-year run after John Harbaugh. Like, that's crazy. But
Yeah.
all right. But yeah, anyway,
All right. Moving on. You want offense or defense?
let's go defense because I'm kind of just working my way right up the list here. Let's start with our defense. You go
Fair
right
enough.
ahead.
Let me pull that up. Uh,
Yeah, I didn't love the defensive rookie of the year choices.
oh, we're
Um,
going rookie? Okay.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not super familiar.
That's
Um,
yeah. A lot of the names I'm not even recognizing. I have a couple that I do. Cooper DeJean, white cornerback. Nobody can like that. That in itself is amazing. Kool Aid McKinstry. That's hysterical. I love that dude's name. I'm always going to be a fan of Kool Aid McKinstry.
yeah,
I believe he was out of Alabama. And then the one that I
yes.
really like I wanted to pick him, but I felt like I was too Eagle heavy on some of my picks, so I had to split it up. I couldn't do it. But I Quinyon Mitchell. I feel like he played a hell of a game for you guys
He
Friday
looks
night.
so good.
Kids all over the field
Yeah,
and making tackles in the open field, like getting his hand on balls. So yes, that was one where I just kept hearing his name, and I was like, "Who is this kid?" And then I realized today that he was a rookie, and I was like, "Shit, like that kid could be pretty good for Philly." But my official pick is going to be Chop Robinson,
okay.
um, drafted by the Dolphins out of Penn State University.
Yeah.
I weird Madden bias, but I had him for Madden 24 last year. I picked up one of his cards, and he was a monster. And that is just like it's a silly way to be a tell, but Madden does a pretty good job of like up and coming players. They're not putting their money into people that they think are going to fizzle out, so they have
Yeah.
all their stats and analytics and stuff. And so, again, anything can happen. It's a long season, but I think Chop Robinson definitely has a good chance to bring that home because he's on that Miami defense. If they get their shit together and they're winning games, I think he's going to have plenty of tackles, lots of balls swatted, a couple of interceptions, maybe some forced fumbles. Like he's going to be in the field running wild over there.
Gotcha. Yeah, while you were talking there, I pulled up the odds, and almost everybody has Dallas Turner first.
Yes.
Um, so I think that's probably an obvious pick. Um, he went to where'd he go? The
He's
Vikings.
Bama. Yeah, he's Bama
Yeah,
kid and got
Bama
drafted by the
kid
Vikings. Yeah.
goes to the Vikings. Yeah, he plays a good position in linebacker. So
Yeah, and he's on a
17th
good
pick.
Vikings defense. That's
Yeah,
that's I think that's a locker room thing. Whereas if they don't fall apart, having lost McCarthy, I think if everything stays humble and they ride the year out, their defense could stay solid. And yeah, he could definitely
yeah.
be looking at that.
And then I pulled up the previous winners as you did with the coaches, and you're looking at Will Anderson Jr. for the Texans, Sauce for the Jets, Micah for the Cowboys, Chase Young. So there's not really any position bias on defense, which is nice.
Yeah.
Um, I do agree with you. Quinyon Mitchell, Q as
Yeah.
they call him in Philly, he looked outstanding Friday
Very much
night.
so. He reminded me of like Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
Like he just was all over. He was physical with everybody. He was getting like he is not afraid of the moment. Like you're playing
yeah,
Friday night in Brazil, your first NFL game, and like yeah, he showed
yeah.
out. So
Yeah, and I mean, bit of a homer here. He's got to be going against one of the best wide receiving cores in the NFL every day at practice. In AJ
yeah,
Brown,
that's true
Devontae
too.
Smith,
That's true.
and now
Yeah,
Jahan Dotson.
yeah,
Once he starts rolling, and then if he does happen to cover a linebacker, you're looking at Dallas Goddard, or
yeah. That's
Saquon out of the backfield. Like,
yeah,
phew,
yeah. That's yeah.
that's
He's getting his reps. He is
that's that whole
absolutely getting
iron
his
sharpening
reps.
iron thing. So,
Yeah, for sure.
um, and then I'll be honest, I don't know much about the Latu guy. Um,
Yeah, me neither. That was when I saw that name. I believe is he
for
for the Chargers?
the Colts.
Colts. Colts.
Um, so out
Defensive
of
lineman.
UCLA, defensive lineman, I think that's possible. Um, depends on how he plays. If he gets enough sacks and forced fumbles, whatever it is,
Yeah,
um,
I
he could
think that
easily be
that's a
there.
basis on how the Colts play. If they're a
Yeah,
terrible team and 4-13, like no one's gonna care. But if he's doing pretty well and leading the defense and is a tear on a tear, I think he has a good chance.
yeah.
But yeah, I think my official pick is Chop Robinson. I'm gonna
Chop
roll with
Robinson. Yeah,
Demorion. I think is his real name.
yeah. I think I'm rolling with Q. Uh,
Yeah,
I mean, the Eagles look good this year. Hopefully they stay healthy. Hopefully he stays healthy. And I think there's a lot of big matchups for him that he can really make his stamp of this is who I am and this is where we're gonna win.
yeah. Slight little shout out too for Michigan man Blake Corum. If he gets running with the Rams, it's definitely a chance that the running back out of Michigan he could make some noise there.
Yeah, you're not
Um,
wrong.
Yeah. Shit, I jumped ahead. I'm realizing now I'm talking offense.
That's all
I
right.
literally, I was looking at something and I clicked off of it. I came back and I was like, oh wait, we can't forget about Blake. He's way down here on the odds list. But we were just leaving defense, so
Yeah,
yeah, that'll be a talking point here in a second. But yeah, defensive um, rookie of the year. Like I said, I really like Q too. I have too many Eagles on the rest of this list, which is weird because like I don't think that them as a team are gonna do super hot this year. But you guys just
okay.
have all these high flying players that are gonna catch balls, they're gonna make tackles, they're gonna get touchdowns. Like
Yeah,
Saquon's three is crazy,
yeah,
but anyway, yep. So we'll roll right into offensive rookie of the year. This one is a lot more fun. We all recognize a lot more of these names. These are more household names, and you kind of know what you're talking about here.
yeah. Um, Go ahead. I started last time. Go for it.
So I really like Jaden Daniels. I think that's my front runner. Like that,
Okay.
that's my forefront pick. Been pretty high on him. It's another weird one, but like Madden did well with him, showing kind of his skill set. And again, that's a goofy way to review people. I'm not at all saying that he's good in Madden. That means it's going to translate. But they do a pretty good job of highlighting like the showcase players. Like they do a pretty good job of that. And so he's one that's kind of been on my radar since last year. I was excited to see him start, and I think he had a really good first game. Um, he's always smiling. Every time he gets hit, he's cheesing, which is hilarious, and his helmet kept popping off. So I think he's one that is going to need to learn to get down. But I think that
Yeah.
as long as he stays healthy and he gets them to like a near 500 or better season, I think he has got a hell of a chance. Because the other people in the odds are Malik Neighbors, Marvin Harrison Jr., Caleb Williams,
Yeah.
and I don't love a lot of those names. The only other name that I would really say would be Xavier Worthy.
Mm.
But it's tough to take a receiver in these situations because you have quarterbacks out there. So
Yeah.
like yeah, it's Caleb and Jaden could both play a mediocre year, and Xavier would have to ball the fuck out every week,
He
having
has a
Patty hit
pretty
him with
good
some balls.
chance of balling
And
out
he
with
does
his
for
quarterback.
sure. But I think now after week one, the rest of the teams are gonna go, okay, that's legitimate. Someone cover that guy. Like he
The
caught
same
it in the
thing with
backfield.
Tyreek.
That is true. And he did whatever he wanted for 3 or 4 years. So yeah,
Oh, we lost you. Please hold while we have technical difficulties. All right, for what it's worth, my pick would have been Caleb Williams. We're gonna wait a minute and see if we can get Dane back here. So you might see me down here texting, trying to help him out as tech support, and Brad's on it as well. So I had to pick Caleb Williams. Didn't look particularly great week one, but easy, clear front runner. I think he stays healthy. Dane did take Jaden Daniels. That's a great pick as well. But my concern there is health. He just, man, he took a lot of hits in week one. So um, I, th- I think Dane's right. If he finds a way to stay healthy and start getting down, um, I think he could win, but I would pick Caleb Williams. Uh, Again, you're looking at clout position. I do really like Xavier Worthy. Um, I think he has a pretty good shot. If by happenstance both of them end up getting, oh, oh, welcome back.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I really need to get an Ethernet cable. The new house, the internet is not it. I mean, it's just like the router's in a weird spot. Yeah, I need to fix that. My bad, everybody.
Fair enough.
All right, where did I leave out at? What did I
Uh,
miss?
you cut out in offensive rookie of the year, and I gave my pick, which I rolled with Caleb Williams as my pick. Again, I think similar to you, uh, position says everything in this instance.
Yeah,
The
it's
quarterback's probably going to win if both of them stay healthy.
yeah.
Um,
They're touching the
it's
ball every play. It's
exactly.
hard not to. Yeah.
So, um,
I will give a quick shout out to Bo Nix. He was on their top five in the odds. I think that's high, but that makes me happy to see that if they're
yeah,
thinking that he can do that, because again, to win that, like you got to be at least 500 or better, or roughly around there, you would think, unless you balled out and just lost all year. But
yeah.
um, Malik Neighbors is another good name on
I was
there, but
just about to bring him up as well.
unfortunately has Danny Dimes throwing him the ball. So until
Yeah,
that gets fixed, no idea. Keon Coleman is another one. Again, Josh Allen is the one throwing the ball. So
yeah.
a lot to be had there. But Brock Bowers, just a quick shout out. Shave your head, bro. I know you're not listening, but if you happen to, I saw that meme of his hair. It's rough. It's got like the KD vibes where it's like, man, let it go. Just commit
Yeah,
to the baldness. So poor kid, but yeah, I think it's time to give it up. Yeah, and then we did kind of accidentally touched on, but Blake Corum I think is a really good one.
okay.
It's just kind of a
Yeah,
secret dark horse because the Rams are always. I don't want to give McVay that much credit, but like a Belichick type role where he is
yeah,
thinking about week 10 and 14 and 16 ahead of time, and so he knows what he wants to do throughout the season and how he wants to progress and develop players. So I think Blake could definitely do well in Los Angeles, especially people like
yeah.
Stafford in the locker room. Like I think that's hard not to. But yeah, that's for me. Give me Jaden Daniels though. I'd like to see him do well, and I think
Fair
that they have the
enough.
best chance to do well. And then again, that Xavier Worthy pick. If I'm going non-quarterback, I think that's almost a no-brainer.
Yes, I agree. The only caveat to that is if Malik Neighbors somehow has some spectacular stats in New
Yeah,
York. I
he,
think
yeah,
I
you got
think
to
his
blow
stats don't need to
Xavier.
be as good just because he's in New York.
That's
Um,
true.
so
That gets a knock to it. Yeah,
yeah, so we'll see what happens. We've mentioned this time or two. It's a long season.
it's a long
Um,
season, but it's your life. You do you.
yeah, may all of them have good health, and we'll roll
Yes, that's
into
it.
Defensive Player of the Year. Um, I, I really, really hate to pick this individual, um,
I
but
already know who you're picking.
yeah, I think most people will. But he's so good, and Micah
Yes,
Parsons.
he's a freak. It's so
Yeah,
weird that he's local.
yeah. Um, I I know he talks a lot of crap, but he backs it up on the field.
Yeah.
Um, and he has a podcast too, so hey, shout out.
I that is one that's again a lot of this is family and friends. People know that you and I grew up here in Mechanicsburg, right outside of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. So we
Yeah,
have the likes of Marquise Colston, LaShawn McCoy, Micah Parsons. Like we
yeah,
have some John Ritchie. Like we have some legitimate players that have come out of Pennsylvania, especially Cumberland Valley and the 717. So,
yeah.
and then obviously those guys are Harrisburg products, but I mean
Right,
it's
a stone's
we
throw
don't
away.
we don't want a lot of credit for Harrisburg, but we will definitely slap our name on some NFL players. But
Absolutely.
yeah, Micah, it's so crazy because like Ran is younger than us. She is like was in his grade and has friends with him. Like she's always like it's so, like I remember hanging out with him and it was just like, oh, this is my friend's football boyfriend. It's whatever, and I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, like I've seen him, like we've been in like same rooms and stuff before. I'm like, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah,
And she's just like, yeah, like at the time he just was like kid
a
playing
football
football, like
player.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
just a football player. He's in 10th grade, he's just fucking around. Um, but yes, that's so crazy. So we'll have to see what we can do. See if I can pull out some mutual strings to get Micah on the podcast. I know that's tough for you as an Eagles fan, but I'll fanboy out
I,
and talk football with
I,
Micah for a little
yeah,
bit.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, that's I think those are the ones where you kind of put it aside. You're like, all right,
Yeah,
this is pretty sweet. Like,
yeah,
yeah, to talk to Mike, it would be well worth it. So
yes,
yes, that's.
absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Micah's high on that list. The odds have Micah, Watt, and Garrett, Crosby, and Hutchinson as the top five, and then even right after that, you're looking at Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, Will Anderson Jr., Khalil Mack. Like there are so many big names on the list, and I mean, most of them are linebackers and linemen.
Yeah.
First safety that shows up is Kyle Hamilton for Baltimore, so I think that's a solid pick too, even though he's
Mm,
down on the odds.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, my official pick is going to be Aiden Hutchinson because I'm high
Okay.
on the Lions. I think they get to that conference championship.
Go
I'm
blue.
playing back to my predictions. Yeah, another Michigan kid. But yeah, I think that he is a monster, and I think Campbell and him eating Frosted Flakes and Coke for breakfast together, I think is going to do well. And so yeah, I think he's a freak there. But I mean, yeah, the rest of the names on this list, like you can't go wrong with anyone
Yeah.
on the top 10 or 15 of the
Right.
odds for Defensive Player of the
Any
Year
one of
because
them can
it's
easily
very easily
pluck it.
get it done this year.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of them are on the same team, so it's one of those things where it's like one of them's got to get the tackle, so
Yeah.
like someone's getting the stat, and so yeah, so I think for me, I like Aiden Hutchinson. I think he's gonna have a monster year this year.
Fair enough. Can't argue that. Moving on to offensive player of the year.
Your
We
official
got
pick then, Micah.
Micah. Yeah,
Micah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, that's yeah. I don't think that's a wrong pick by any means. All right, but yeah, for offensive, um, this is where I felt like I had too many Eagles and I didn't like it. I put
Uh,
Saquon in there as like an honorable mention, and then I had
okay.
AJ Brown as an honorable mention, and then I was going in later and I picked Q Mitchell, and I was like, all right, this is too much. I was like, I gotta take
Yeah.
some people out here, so I left them in as their honorable mentions. I like Saquon for potential. I like
Yeah.
Tyreek. I like Debo, and I like AJ Brown. But I love Joe Mixon. I'm high on the Texans
Um,
still,
yeah.
and he had a hell of a week 1. And so I think if they keep riding that, I think he is in a good spot. Again, especially if the Texans end up 13-4 or something like that. Like I think
Right
if
on.
they're a top couple seeds and Joe stays healthy, I think that he has a really good chance to sneak in there and lead the league in rushing. Like I think that he is. I think the Texans have just such a well put together team. It was troublesome to see them struggle against the Colts so much, but I think that they will definitely get that together and start running heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. There's a lot of honorable mentions here. I mean, how do you not look at Tyreek Hill? Um,
Right.
it's
He's
week one, the shit he went through,
still
then to
just
come
catching
out and
balls.
ball out, and look, he does it just game after game after game, which I think is just so impressive because
Yeah.
everybody knows it's coming, and
Yeah.
they still can't stop it.
That's what we were talking about the other. You need like a 3-man setup to stop
Yeah,
somebody that fast. Like you need the press bump jam guy, you need the trailer, and then you need the overhead safety to just be
yeah,
ready for him to beat them and get to there. Like you
yeah,
can't just cover him with 2 because he's gonna just run by them. Like
yes,
Calvin went over the top. Tyreek just goes through. Like it's just around you, and
yes,
it's crazy.
yeah. And then you have C.D. Lamb is up there in the odds as well. Uh, Christian McCaffrey, although if he misses 2 weeks of playing, I think you could pretty well write him off. Um, I know,
I don't know about all that. I
I
think
know, but I think missing 2 games already, um, that's gonna put you pretty far behind in
I
almost
think I would say
everything.
that for just about anyone except for C-Mac. I feel like C-Mac could probably miss 3 or 4 games, and then by the end of the season, you will have forgot that he missed those 3 or 4 games because he'll be in top 5 for rushing, top 5
Okay.
for receiving bad. Like that's how
Yeah.
I would look at that. But I definitely see what you're saying though. Like the bigger hole you dig, like your yards per game, like you're kind of screwing yourself. So it's
Yeah.
like yeah, you really want to get back on the field. And
Yeah.
I saw that there was a rumor that he's out for Sunday too. So
I
yeah,
know. That's what I'm
yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. But my pick, and I will be a homer here, is Saquon. He dropped
Yeah.
3 touchdowns in week one. He's I have no disrespect to a Miles Sanders, a DeAndre Swift, but they're not Saquon.
They're not Saquons.
Yeah, like Saquon's. Yeah,
Saquons.
he is the running back similar to CMC that can just take over a game. Um,
Yeah.
and now that he's on a decent team and he's not playing in a stadium that and he's not playing in a stadium that is known
Ends
to get people
careers.
hurt. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna have a great season,
yeah.
and I think he's gonna come out Monday night against the Falcons. He's gonna have that Philly fan behind him, their first home game in Philly. Or
Especially off the
technically,
hype
yeah,
of
technically we're
of a
home in
win.
Brazil. Yeah,
Yeah, but that's me.
the
But
hype of
coming
the
in there,
win.
Philly, you guys are hungry. Like a week one, everyone's excited for football, but we don't know
Yeah,
what it's gonna be. You have a week two after a dominant win, like a dominant play like that. Yeah,
yeah,
Saquon and Philly, blacked out visor. Like, yeah, you guys played Monday
yeah,
night. You said?
yeah. Monday night
Oh
against the
yeah, yeah.
Falcons.
He might have three more touchdowns. Honestly,
Yeah,
like that. Yeah,
exactly.
he could.
He's Yeah, he's gonna be
Yeah,
rocking. So,
yeah, for
um,
sure.
definitely a
Some of
homer
the
here with
Yeah,
Saquon.
some of the other names on the top of the odds I just did not love. Justin Jefferson, I love Justin. Don't love the Vikings and what happens with Darnold. There's
Agree.
JJ back later in the season. Like there's just a lot of there. Jamar, don't love that pick because I feel like there's just too much shit going on. Cincy, same with Brees Hall and Bijan Robinson, like both solid players, but like I
Yeah,
think their teams are going to be what holds them back. And so yeah, you're left, and that's yeah. Saquon and AJ Brown both made top 10 and the odds here. That's why I was like, yeah, their offense is high flying, like they are moving. But yeah,
yeah,
I want to take my random dark horse. I don't know, he's not even on the odds, but like I just like Joe Mixon after that week one performance. That's a very
That's fair.
biased post week one pick, but
Yeah,
because he could fizzle out and not even be the starter by week four. But I
yeah.
think that like if he keeps it up and they stay healthy, that we have good picks there. But
Alright.
all
Who you
right,
got for MVP?
on to the big one.
Wrap this show up quick.
I would like, yeah. Again, we want to keep our morning shows to just like a quick 30-minute recap, doing Monday's kind of recap for the weekend, Friday preview for the weekend, or however we're gonna end up doing it. But the Wednesday show will kind of be the fun and the games and the bits and whatever else. But today we wanted to use it to take over these picks since we didn't get it in our pilot. So today we're gonna hit probably about 40-41 minutes. But yeah, these should be usually about 30 minutes. Nice little morning recap, get you up, get you ready for your day. Um, but yeah, so for me for MVP, I my honorable mentions Mahomes. Hard not to put him there, but I think that will be what do they call it, voter fatigue or whatever, where they're like this
Yeah,
fucking guy again. Like it, I think that kind of plays into it because now you're expecting like if he throws less than 40 touchdowns and they are less than 15-2, you're like what's going on? So he has to
sure.
have a damn near perfect year, I think, to get MVP. I don't think it's out of question, but I think he has to have a damn
Same.
near perfect just because of the 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 view of it.
Yeah,
Um, Matt Stafford, I love that pick. I wanted to pick him, but I always like I don't want anybody to be like you're just copying PMT. And then they were huge on Stafford, but like I think that's a good pick. I always love me some Stafford. He's healthy this year. Cooper's back. It sucks that Puka went down, but I think that's going to hurt his odds having a little bit less of an offense than they
yeah,
thought they were going to. But I still think that Stafford's going to ball out this year. I think the Rams are a team to be fucked with. I also really like Tua if he stays healthy, but that again, that's such a 50-50 pick because it's you got to stay healthy, you got to throw the ball. He's short, so seeing over that line is crazy. But my official pick, give me Lamar Jackson. I think week one again, there was a couple like he had a couple throws that just were like, what the hell are we doing? But for the most part, I mean, you can run like that, you can move like that, you can throw like that, not bad for a running back. Like it's just I did it again yesterday. I said I remembered saying it in the podcast. I was walking through work and I just was like, not bad for a running back. Like I cannot. No matter what I'm doing, it pops in my head. But yeah, so yeah, give me Lamar. I think that their offense, like Derrick Henry, they still have most of their
yeah,
pieces. Like they have a legitimate team. They still have their coach. Like they are pounding on the door to get into the Super Bowl, and they
right.
just haven't quite got there yet. But maybe that's I'm high on them this year, so I picked them to beat the Lions in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I'm gonna give me Lamar. I'm doubling down, back to back MVPs and his first Super Bowl win.
Wow. Okay. I like it. It's really not a bad pick at all.
Yeah, that's it's
Again, as we've mentioned so many times, it's a long season. You got to stay healthy.
yes, yeah,
I
that's the
hope all
caveat for
these guys
everyone.
do. I'm really surprised, being as high on the Texans as you are, that you didn't mention C.J. Stroud.
I think because they have so many pieces, he won't get the love that he deserves. Like
Okay.
you have so many receivers, and Stephon Diggs is a big name there.
Yeah.
That's requiring attention and cloud and everything, and
Yeah.
Mixon being there, and they have so many rookies and like young players. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean CJ, that's definitely worth the mention. That's top five in the odds. Like yeah, that's worth the
Yeah.
mention for sure.
I think I'm gonna surprise quite a few people with this pick. Um,
Jalen,
no, I can't be a homer here.
I was curious. I
I
was like,
do.
I thought it was a sarcastic surprise.
No, no, no. I do think Jalen has. He certainly has the ability and the talent and all the pieces. Um, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. He's another one. You gotta stay healthy.
Yeah.
He's not. He usually only misses 1 or 2 games, but you miss 1 or 2 games, then the MVP race is pretty
Yeah,
much over.
yeah, that's tough.
Um,
It's a lot different than the other ones we had
yeah,
talked about.
exactly. So, but my official pick is Dak Prescott.
Wow.
Um, the man got paid. He looked good week 1.
That's an
Uh,
interesting pick.
I I hate to pick him, but
Yeah.
I think he has a good season. I think he balls out. I think he collapses in the playoff, but he's always in
V-
this conversation.
Voting's wrapped up by that point,
Yeah,
so
exactly. He's always in this conversation. He and Mike McCarthy obviously have some good chemistry together. He's got some decent weapons. Hopefully Ferguson comes back, healthy and soon, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, Dak Prescott for sure is my pick.
nice. I like that. That's an interesting one, especially as a Philly kid. That's funny that you're going with Dak. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I just he's one of those teams. Like I have a couple buddies that we always talk fantasy football stuff. Like we're in separate leagues, so we always kind of just bounce like ideas.
sure.
And that's one where like I just have certain rules. Like anytime one of them reaches out to me, like, what do you think about this person or this person? Like I just in my head, like it's biases and it's how I operate. But like there are certain teams that I just do not love for stats, and certain teams I don't love for wins. And yeah, Dallas is one of them where like I'm never faithfully like, yes, no, this is the year that they're going to be good because their fans have been doing it for 30 years. So I'm like, I don't know any better than they do. Like
Yeah,
it might be until they win, then I'm not going to say it's their year. Like if they win this year, then next year I'll be like, damn, they could repeat. Who knows? But
yeah,
yeah, no, I think that's a solid pick though, because yeah, he can run, he can throw. Like he's proved that like he can do both, and so yeah, I think that they do have a good season. Everyone got paid. All the contracts are situated. So yeah,
yeah,
CD's there, Dak's there. They got Zeke back. So I think it's a little bit of some fun in the locker room that they're just kind of vibing out, trying to win some games. But no, yeah, I think that's definitely a solid pick. I do not hate the Dak Prescott pick.
yeah. Thank you. All right, well, we'll wrap this show up. I'll wrap it up with my fun fact for your Wednesday morning. There is a short period of time when both Snoop Dogg and Pablo Picasso were both alive together. Going to look up the lifespan of Pablo Picasso. I don't even.
Pablo Picasso was born October 25th, 1881, but died April 8th, 1973.
Yep.
You could have told me that Pablo Picasso lived in the 1400s, and I'd have been like, yeah, no shit, dude. Anyway, and I'd have just moved on. I had no idea. Like, that man was
For the
alive in
record,
my.
Snoop Dogg was born October 20th, 1971.
So it was like 2 years.
Yeah.
Snoop was a toddler, and Pablo Picasso died. And
Yeah.
It makes Snoop sound like he's 1,000 years old, but like 73 is like my dad's year. Like that's not like incredibly old.
Yeah.
Okay, but what about
He's in
like
his
okay, yeah,
50s.
see, Vincent Van Gogh died in 1890. I guess
Uh-huh.
that makes a little like that would have been a little more what I would have
Yeah.
expected.
I think everybody's surprised that Pablo Picasso lived into the
Yeah, because in my
1900s.
head, I like Leonardo da Vinci is April 1452 to May of 1519, which just seems like such fake numbers. Like, what fake news that you were born in 1400? Like, get real, bro. That's not real. But Leonardo da Vinci, Vincent Van Gogh, Pablo Picasso, like, I would have put them all. Like,
Yep.
I just would have been like, oh, those old ass painters and mathematicians or whatever. Like, there's just those dudes that did all that important stuff. Like, Mona Lisa was painted in 1503. Like, I would have put Pablo around those times. I
Sure.
had no idea that Pablo was like recent. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Snoop and Pablo.
All right.
Cool.
Well, we appreciate you all.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
guys.
for tuning in. We'll again, we're going live stream Thursday night. Uh, Dane's Facebook page.
Yep.
I haven't really talked to Dane about this, so this will come to a surprise to him. I think we're gonna try to go YouTube live as well. Um,
I
one
think
from
we
his.
can. I think YouTube also has the requirements like Facebook does. You have to have a certain number of followers and stuff before you can
Fair
go
enough.
live. So
Well, follow
shout
us
out
on
everybody.
Facebook
Go follow us on Facebook.
or
Go follow the
YouTube.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we could get it on both, that way we can go live from those instead of from my Facebook. But yeah, we should be all good again then. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all. Have a great day.
See you later.